We have a small audience today. All right. Today is February 10th, 2021. This is the Kubernetes CSI implementation meeting. We'll start by going down our usual agenda. I think with 119, we're just waiting on the CSI proxy build process. I need to sync up with Jing if she's had a chance to look at this. I haven't heard any update from her. I think going on to 120, I have a doc that I need to update, so I should be able to take a look at it this week. And then I think, Xing, you were looking at snapshotter failures. Have those been resolved?
Patrick submitted some PR, so I still need to look at the last set of PRs there. I think I merged one. I don't know if there was another one that he's still working on. So he did submit one basically just now we're not running the new test on all the branches.
Mm-hmm. Like it's running the older version of the E2E that uses the beta API.
Right. Yeah. He's actually like the kind version, or there was some version that he basically changed for just older branch.
Okay.
Those are related to the snapshot error. It's different. This failures.
This one. So I think this is CI. I think this might be because in the release branch, we actually directly modified the subtree stuff, so the subtree test is failing. I think that's expected.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think these are just run. These are not run as part of PRs. These are run just periodically.
Okay.
So they seem to be looking good. Yeah.
Okay.
I guess nothing here is running.
Okay, then maybe that one just to fix it. And okay, yeah. So and there was a back for PR that because that was the one when we found out this failure. So that one I need to do another look, make sure it's right, and then can merge that. It's a cherry pick. Yeah, maybe we'll do a cut a release for this is the 2.1 branch. There's a backboard. Do a patch release for that.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. And then I think in terms of releasing stuff, I think there's still a couple outstanding things in CSI test that Patrick is looking at. I think we'll just follow up later on that. So moving on to 121, feature freeze was yesterday. Thanks everyone for working so hard to get everything in by the deadline. I think for the most part, we got most of the stuff that we wanted. I think the only two things that got dropped were object storage and node shutdown, but I think everything else that we were doing has merged. So thanks so much.
We have like 10.
Yeah.
So
we're gonna have a really busy month because code freeze is coming way too soon.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. Let's go into the sort of PRs we have in progress. First up is this performance test. I don't know if Patrick has had a chance to look at it now that the KEPs are merged, but I think definitely we should spend some time focusing on this again. Okay, it looks like he commented it. So, okay. So that's good. We can discuss this more if people are interested. Next, we have CSI Migration.
Yeah, so for CSI Migration, the CAP is being updated and merged. And I think there is one person that is working on updating the sidecar to include the matrix. The PR, I have tested the PR manually and it seems to be working fine. So I pinned you, Michelle. Could you help to take a look
Okay.
on that? And other than that, I'm working on the core Kubernetes matrix to add the matrix. I'm still working on that, and I'll be keep working on that this week.
Awesome.
And also I attended the meeting on SIG architecture. Sorry, not SIG architecture, SIG cluster lifecycle yesterday. Um, and I told them that this change is coming up, and so basically I created 3 issues for 3 different Kubernetes distribution tool sets. So there are KOps and the kubespray and the cluster API. And I think on that 3 issues, there are already some people following up on that. So yeah, I think they are aware of this and they will work on that.
All right.
Yeah, I think
Awesome.
that's all.
So pretty much like for the core migration work, it's mainly the metrics that are remaining, and then the rest of the work is mostly each plugin needs to continue working towards
Yeah, that's my
their
understanding.
work.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Awesome. Great. Thanks for the update.
Oh yeah, and also
Oh yeah.
for PDCSI, it seems there are a couple of test failure. I'm not sure if it's related to my topology change. I need to take a look today. Yeah,
Okay.
that's all.
Awesome. Thanks. All right. And next we have snapshots.
Yeah, so we have the E2E test for secrets that got merged. I think Grant's metrics E2 test still, I think the review is still going on. So there was some back and forth there. Yeah, and then also I pinned Kartik to update his PR to his patch. So that has been for a while. So I need to ping him again on that. Yeah, that's it.
All right. Thank you. Um, next we have generic ephemeral volumes. Is Patrick on the line? All right, we'll skip that. Next is volume populators.
So the kept merged, woohoo. We got Tim's
Awesome.
approval at the sort of the last minute, pretty much as late as you can get. He did indicate that like his approval is somewhat provisional and that he wants to remain involved with some of the decisions. In particular, he has a lot of uncomfortability around, I guess, the existing behavior with data PVC data sources, and is interested in maybe changing the existing behavior to be better. And I, you know, the challenge there is of course backwards compatibility. And so I don't know if we're going to be able to get him to come to our regular Tuesday meeting next week, or if we have to schedule a one-off with him. But yeah, Tim will probably be giving us a little bit of guidance on, you know, the higher level issues around PVCs and data sources. But everything else I think he was okay with. So I'll just be, we need to nail down those last API issues. The other thing is he was not thrilled with the controller approach with giving async messages. He actually suggested maybe the validating webhook would have been the better way to do it. And we need to have that debate as well, because, you know, we considered the validating webhook and rejected it for good reasons, I think. And he just hasn't had time to process those good reasons. So once we get the API stuff agreed to by him, then we can do the work. There's not going to be a ton of work in tree. It's going to be the out of tree stuff that will be more time consuming.
All right. Great. Thanks for the update. Next up is FS Group.
Hey, sorry, I missed a bunch of calls. Yeah, so the cap was merged and everything, but we are still blocked on the CSI community approval for the FS group change. Ben, I addressed your comment about like the permission should be applicable throughout the life cycle of node publish. So if you can, I sent out an email to container storage interface community email as a mailing list as well to have other people look at it if we can before the
So you're waiting for me to
freeze.
take another look and approve it?
Yeah, but I
Okay. I didn't. I thought I was pretty happy with it. I guess maybe I forgot to press the right button and approve it. So
yeah
yeah, just ping me if I'm not pressing the right buttons.
yeah I'll ping you offline, and but we might have to still sync that this in the another community sync. I don't know, but the proposal looks good, so we can just everything that we was brought up in the last community sync was is addressed. So yeah.
All right. Awesome. Thank you very much. And then moving on to expansion.
Expansion, I think I didn't have time to uh, like the hard part is like Neha and Sun, they want to work on it, but we have to update some caps, and I don't have time in this thing. But their Sun is working on the PVC being deleted while the resize is pending. He has a solution using annotations. He pinged me the other day about he wanted to remove the annotation from the kubelet. I said removing PV cannot update PV from kubelet. So yeah, I'm working with him offline, and yeah, that's
All
the
right.
bug we are going to fix. I think most likely this quarter.
Cool. Thank you very much. Next is volume health.
Yeah, so yeah, cap merge, that's great. But then we now need to make some changes in kubelet. Yeah, so actually time, it's exactly 1 month, right? So need to do that. To add a new feature gate, keeping this in alpha. So I'm thinking we might have to change the function signature a little bit because I was thinking that the place where we are making this call, it's in this entry CSI plugin, and that probably does not have access to the like PVC informer or pod informer, right? Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe have to actually return something
Yeah.
back, then that might involve more changes than I initially thought. So we'll see how that goes.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good. Is this something you plan on working, or is Nick Ren going to help?
So Ran is not Nick. There's another guy. So this guy Feng, the Feng Zishu that's showing here. Yeah. So Ran, his name is Ran. So he says he want to work on this. So.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Let's see. We'll skip over this and we'll skip over this. I guess this one we didn't get the kep in, but we can still actively discuss.
Yeah, so I updated
and-
it because I did the sync up with the Ben, so I updated it. But I think I need to, yeah, I need to try something out, and then maybe we need to sync up. We need to sync up again, and just because I added the CSI capabilities, and then added like the cleanup part. But I like to validate a little bit before we have another meeting to discuss about it.
All right. Awesome. Thanks. So I guess so that's everything. That's basically all of the features that we are tracking. I think going down just this to-do list of other random stuff that we potentially have. I think first is this read-only change in external provisioner. I think Humble is working on this. Do you know if Humble's going to be able to continue working on this one?
Did that not merge already?
I reached out to him over Slack. It sounded like he won't be able to get to it for a while, but he didn't. He hasn't mentioned when. So I think between him and me, I guess whoever gets to it first will take over.
Okay, sounds good. Cool. I think, Ben, did you have a question?
I thought I saw that merge a while ago. I'm just maybe, is there a second part of it, or am I just mistaken?
Oh, no, I think it didn't merge. It does have an LGTM on it, but I think I had some questions on it on the approach, so I wanted to take another revisit this.
In what venue we're going to have that discussion?
Can have it in the PR, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I need to go take
The
another
PR
look.
has, yeah, the PR is still not merged yet.
Okay. Cool.
All right, sounds good. And then I think we have this issue here. I think we are tracking
I'm
this as part
waiting.
of snapshots.
I'm waiting for Jan to review it. Jan, can you take a look? Maybe I will send a link to you on Slack.
Yeah, that will probably work the best.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Cool, thank you. Next up is this race condition between node unstage and delete volume. I know there was some recent activity around this late. Let's see. Okay, looks like there's two new PRs that are replacing this. All right. Adding a new access mode in Kubernetes. This is something that Chris from my team is investigating, and he's going to be working on a design for this quarter.
This is to distinguish between multiple nodes and multiple pods on one node?
Yeah, this is to be able to distinguish a single node, single writer, and a single node multi-writer.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. We also have this change that we reverted because it revealed a bug in another area. So ideally we want to fix the other bug so that we can check this one back in. But I think I'm not sure if anyone's is actively looking at the other issue. Let's see. This one.
So this is something I'm interested in. I'm not looking into it, but I have another internal bug assigned to me in my company that I need to fix. So if I fix this in process of that, that'll be great actually.
All right. Yeah. I think there might be a couple different issues sort of all contributing to this maybe. But yeah. We should definitely, let me add this to our to-do list, but I think this would be really good to fix, I think. It's probably a really long-standing issue.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
All right. We also have handle volume unmount timeout. I think this is the uncertain work. Is that correct? I guess, Haman, I know we made a number of changes to mark volumes as uncertain. Is there more that we need to do here?
Yeah, there are at least one was that we were creating volumes, the publish path, and when the plugin is initialized, that needs to be fixed so that like if unstage fails, that publish path also get deleted. It doesn't get deleted right now actually. And there were some issues around like how there were still some issues actually that me to the edge cases. I'll need to take a look again.
All right, cool. Thank you. Yeah, if we can like, if we have a good idea on the specific edge cases that are still outstanding, maybe we can list them here and try to get some help from folks to implement those.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll update the bug what is outstanding on this one. Yeah.
Sounds good. Thank you. Um, let's see. We have this flaky mock volume test. I'm not sure if it's just this test or actually a number of mock volume tests, but I think this was caused by this is due to the fact that we deleted the volume. I think this is due to the fact that we deleted the volume before we unstaged it from the node. So I think the work that Saika is doing to fix this race condition might be able to help in this case. So if so, that would be good.
So keep the test because it's actually
Yeah.
uncovering a race.
Yeah.
It's not a flaky
Yeah.
test, it's a flaky product.
yeah, definitely. Yep. All right. But yeah, I think this is also a broader thing where like, after we can fix all of these flakes, I want to start promoting a bunch of these CSI mock driver tests to the conformance suite. But I think a lot of the CSI tests are probably prone to this flaky issue. So we need to solve that first before we can proceed. All right. Let's see, what is this? Make CSI driver mutable. I think we thought we might have needed this for the AWS driver, but I'm not sure if we do anymore. So I think this is kind of on the back burner. I think I'll revisit this and see if we do need this.
There was as part of the node shutdown force detach discussion, we were talking about potentially updating a field in the CSI driver object programmatically. Is that verboten? Is that something that we could potentially do?
Yes. Yeah. I think pretty much by default we've made things immutable until we think of a reason why it needs to be mutable. I think the main thing is we have to make sure each of these features that are controlled by these flags are able to handle the fact that the field could become mutable. So I think we can't just blanket make everything mutable, but we have to investigate sort of each feature one by one and see if it does support mutability or not.
Is it
So
currently
that
not mutable? Currently, the pod info amount right now is not mutable, right? So basically, we want to change it.
I think
That's
I think
what
almost everything in there is immutable.
Oh,
I
okay.
think did we make the attach required field mutable yet? I don't remember. We may not have, but I think most things are immutable at the moment. But it doesn't have to be that way.
so there's the mutability concern, but there's also the RBAC question. Like, does any controller have access to patch or update that object today?
Currently today, no.
So that might be, I don't know if there's a security concern that could be introduced if we change the RBAC to allow a controller to update it. But that, we were talking about that.
I don't think there's a huge concern about that. Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
Well, as long as most of the fields are immutable, then it doesn't matter. But yeah, we have to think about security aspects of potentially allowing controllers to update those fields.
Yeah, I think generally we trust controllers a bit more, so it usually has not been an issue. All right. Let's see. Next attach detach controller should use shared informer. This is I think a long-standing item, and this is something that Chris from my team is currently working on. I think he has a PR out to change the in-tree attach detach controller to use the shared informer. I think it's getting close. It's getting close, and I think probably in the next week or so we should be able to merge it. All right. Let's see. Oh, I already did. Did I confuse myself? Did I already add this? Anyway. Oh, I guess, okay. I think Hamad, we were just talking about this one. I'm going to reopen this.
This is this is still valid.
Okay. All right. We already talked about the secret issue and then restoring from a snapshot to a larger size. Did we make any progress on this? The decision is
No.
every plugin needs to always try to resize when it publishes.
I still miss the CSI spec change merged. It's on review, but nobody has been so brave to actually review it and merge it.
Okay.
Merge it.
Hey, so yeah, I actually have a question. So we're actually trying to test this case, but what is the result? Let's say if you don't really do a resize, let's say you're trying to create a volume that has a larger size than the
So-
snapshot. What will you see?
The CSI driver has two options. It can reject the call with some reasonable error code and message, or if it provisions something, it must have the bigger size.
No, I'm asking if we don't do anything, what is what is broken? I mean, how can we verify something is broken? I guess that's my question.
Well, you can restore a snapshot with bigger size and check if it has the expected size, and if it
You
doesn't,
check the
then
file.
the driver
You
is
mean check the
broken.
file system side? Which side? File system side?
Well, the best would be to check the storage backend, but I think you could check also the file system size and do some toleration because of the metadata, the file system metadata. Like,
You would want to look at the size of the original volume and compare that to the size of the restored snapshot and just validate that it increased at least a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Because the sizes are always kind of, there's rounding errors and stuff. It's approximate.
Will there be any problem with the data? Like, if I don't do anything, I should still be able to read the data. Is that right?
Yes, sure. You will be able to read the
It's
data.
just like you can't really. It's like you created the 10 gig, but you can't really use that 10 gig with actually with 35.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you restore, and you're also getting, the user ends up getting charged more for storage that they're not getting.
Yeah, I was just we are trying to test this out because my my coworkers has now telling me that everything works. I'm like, what? How come? So I just want to make sure we know what to check. So okay, yeah, probably okay. So just
Yeah, it works, but say if you had if your original volume was 10 gigs and you asked for 100 gigs, your application still only gets 10 gigs, but now the PPC and PV say it's 100 gigs and they're getting charged for 100
so basically
gigs.
the underlying
actually.
storage should still be like the old size. It's just your PVC shows it's
No, the new storage should be as big as Kubernetes asked for. So
yeah, so that's my question, right? So when you are creating that, you are actually sending that the size to
Yeah,
the backend, right?
but
So
so for like so for block devices, what I expect would happen is the actual block device would be the size that was passed into create volume,
okay.
but then the file system would not be expanded, so the file system would still be at the smaller size.
Okay, so you can only check this when you really use it by a pod and then go check it out. Okay.
Yeah, like so if you do if you look at the kubelet volume metrics, or like or you just do like a DF or something, you'll see the file system has a smaller size.
Okay. Okay, so we'll just.
The challenge for plugins is that they can implement create volume such that they restore the snapshot and ensure that the resulting volume is bigger. But if they have a file system inside, typically there's nothing that the plugin can do until node stage, node publish time. And because
so even that, that's my next question. Like, if we want to support this, how do we know it's because the size is not the same, right? The file system size is not the same as the.
Right. So it becomes the responsibility of your node plugin to just figure this out somehow. The CSI doesn't help you.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
that part.
Unfortunately, the spec was written that way.
But that part is actually hard. I mean, how do you know the size is actually not bigger enough?
So what we agreed to when we talked about this before is it's possible for node plugins to introspect how many blocks the file system is consuming and compare that to how many blocks how many blocks the device actually is, and if they don't match, you'll know at node stage, node publish time that they don't match, and you can decide to just automatically expand it if you want to.
But yeah, you can probably always just call that, but then that's probably not good. Every time you.
Well, it's a little extra overhead at every node stage or node publish, wherever you, right before you do the mount, you would have to check and see if the size is too small and do a resize if it is. Fortunately, those are very cheap calls, but you do have to do it every time because you won't get any other signal.
Okay, probably need to get the need to get some additional data just to see what are the used block or something that way. Okay.
Hey, Jan, when you implemented this, the file system size will be always smaller than the block size even after expansion.
Yeah, that's why I was saying, like, how can I actually, know?
So there's like an XFS file system info command and like an E2FS dump command that'll tell you how many blocks the file system is consuming on the underlying device, and that should match exactly if you obtain that number.
Yep. But you have to parse this as the output.
Yeah, maybe I will check with you later, because I remember when I was doing the volume expansion, I couldn't get the exact same number. I was checking. Maybe I didn't use this correct command. Maybe I'll ping you later when I get there.
All right. So I guess, Jan, you're just waiting on someone to review the CSI spec change.
Yes.
Jan, have you implemented this any driver?
I implemented, I did proof of concept in AWS with X3 and X4.
And you have that?
Yeah, sure.
Maybe that would be good too. Or even if you just want to put that on that PR, so maybe we can use that as an example. We can just do something similar.
Oh, it's not nice, to be honest, because you have to parse the output of X or dump, or how it's called.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah, well, it works.
Send you the pull request. Here it is.
Are those fields stable? Like sometimes when we use all these Unix utilities, they change their format.
They have been stable for a couple of past years.
So my experience is if you depend on the format of some command's output, you should be including that binary in your container to ensure that it never ever changes. That's the best defense against commands changing their output format.
It's actually what the CSI drivers do, right?
Yeah. So as long as you include your own binaries, then you don't have to worry about the OS tripping you up with some weird version.
Well, there's a security thing, and then you have to update your layer, and then maybe that updates
Yeah, I
the.
mean, it's not without its trade-offs, but
Mm.
I
don't know what
think
else to do.
a lot of commands now have the ability to where you can pass in sort of the syntax you want for the result.
Yeah, I've noticed that for a lot of commands, but I think like e2fs dump is probably too dumb to support like a format commit argument, because it's meant for debugging, not for programmatic consumption, unfortunately.
Like, these tools are ancient.
Do we know if like could we get a more stable format if we went to like proc or sysfs? I guess you
No.
can't really get that in a container.
The problem is that what the binary has to do is it has to read the raw blocks underneath the file system and basically parse whatever header structures the file system put there. And like those, that's debug information, right? That's not something the kernel needs to know. It's something that only someone who's debugging needs to know.
All right. Well, we'll have to
So-
manage, I guess.
There are other approaches to solve this in your CSI plugin. That's the most obvious one that we proposed. There's other ways to sort of communicate from the controller plugin to the node plugin that, you know, this is actually a bigger volume and you got to resize the file system, and, you know.
Yeah, but we discussed that and we kind of did not agree on a solution for that.
We
part.
didn't want to make that the only way, but I'm just saying there's a variety of approaches that are known to work, and you pick the one that works for you. And unfortunately, there's no nice way that CSI provides because this spec, you know, got written the way it did. It would be ideal if CSI like passed size information down to like node publish or node stage, I think, but it doesn't.
All right, sounds good. I guess so. Next items are we need to go through the all the outstanding PRs that we have in the CSI repo and make sure they get merged for the next cut, which I believe is in 1 or 2 weeks. Is that right?
No, we still have a month, right? It's March 9th.
Yeah, but we
pretty much
wanted to
go through-
cut a CSI spec
Oh, CSS spec.
earlier. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I
that
already did that
people
soon.
have time. Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. All right. Any other topics? All right, then we'll end for today. Thanks.
Thank you.
Nice.
Bye.
Thank you.